My name is Joseph, and in this demo tutorial, we're going to explore CarePilot ProblemAssist, our second product in the CarePilot product line. ProblemAssist is designed to help providers manage their patients' problems and code their visits at the point of care, ultimately increasing how quickly they can code, how accurate their codes are, and increase their clinical documentation integrity. So first, we're going to start by looking at CarePilot's first product, Ambient Assist, which is used by providers all across the country to help them take their patient-provider interaction and turn them into complete, accurate clinical notes at the point of care. We can see here that from a visit between ODA and the provider, this sample patient, we've produced a high-quality, formatted, bolded HPI, review of systems, assessment and plan, and so on. This is an amazing help to providers and saves them hours a day and lets them focus on their patients, not their paperwork. However, we've heard a lot of feedback from providers that a major pain point of theirs is coding, and specifically ICD-10 coding, their diagnoses in the visit and managing their patient's problem list, especially when there's a large number of comorbidities. In that spirit, we've released our second product to help solve this issue. Leveraging some of the newest ambient artificial intelligence available, we're able to do several things in order to make documentation and coding just that much more effortless. Let's quickly take a look at one of our EHR integrations, Athena. We're here on Athena on ODA's sample chart, and we've got two chronic conditions here, essential hypertension and type 2 diabetes mellitus, right? Now, in Athena, we can see that we don't have an assessment filled out. We don't have these pulled into the chart or pre-charted in any way. We haven't really documented this patient's visit at all. Let's take a look at what CarePilot would look like right after you completed the visit between ODA and the provider. So back in CarePilot, we can see that we've created that note, as I showed you, but now we have this new tab called Problems. Now, something that instantly looks familiar is we have these two problems pulled in from ODA's chart. Isn't that amazing? I now have that on the same page where I'm doing my AI-enabled documentation. But CarePilot's done something with this information. We can see that just from the conversation, where in this instance we talked about ODA's chronic conditions and then talked about a new diagnosis, CarePilot has automatically pulled these in from the problem list and used this information to update the relevant provider notes. And these will actually make their way back to Athena in this instance. And I'll show you more what that looks like. I can see here I have my ICD-10 code already mapped, and I can go look for and add new ones if I want to. But you notice in Athena that we didn't pre-chart anything in this encounter. CarePilot's AI listened to the visit and looked at the problem list and determined those two were relevant for this visit and added them in. In instances where there might be 5, 10, 15 diagnoses, CarePilot will only pull in the ones that are relevant. But CarePilot hasn't just pulled in these two problems from the patient's existing problem list. It's also done something else. It's suggested a newly identified diagnosis. So the sum and substance of this patient interaction was ODA's knee pain, right? Which CarePilot has accurately identified as some osteoarthritis in their knee, and has added a little bit of documentation here based on the visit, and it's associated the appropriate ICD-10 code here. But it's actually gone a step further than that. I have this little refine button where I can go through and I can refine it down to the more specific code if I want to, which is very helpful. Or CarePilot's actually done some of that legwork for me. If I hover over the little AI sparkle here, I'm now presented with this refinement, primary osteoarthritis of the right knee. And that is actually exactly right. The patient reports stiffness when starting to walk, especially on the right knee after mowing the lawn. And it's accurately identified that this is most likely the most specific code for this visit. And if I accept that, I can just click on it. For now, let's just leave it the way it is, but helps you refine diagnoses at the point of care. Once I'm ready, I can click this button And let's take a look at what this actually looks like in Athena. Back here on Athena, we can see that all of these appropriate sections have been filled out. Isn't that amazing? We can see that the assessment and plan main text area has been filled out, but CarePilot's also pulled in these two problems, added the appropriate codes, filled out these sections, right? Done this for the diabetes as well. And it's also added in this new osteoarthritis, and it's added in the note there. Just to recap, we started with nothing in any of these sections, and as soon as the visit was over, CarePilot was able to appropriately identify that both of these problems were relevant for this encounter, intelligently pulled them in, drafted a new diagnosis, suggested a possible refinement to increase the code specificity, and drafted the note for this as well, in addition to all of the work that it was already doing. So hopefully you can see how this can save you time, increase the accuracy of your coding, and ultimately help you go home earlier, provide better care, and increase your clinical documentation integrity. We're really excited to see what people do with this, and we can't wait to get it out to you. Feel free to reach out to CarePilot at carepilot.com through our support chat or our email, sales@carepilot.com, to learn more about getting this for your practice and exploring it in your workflows. Thank you so much.